All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. Welcome back to the chart stream. Now, today you might see by the big gangly moving white hands in the bottom left-hand side of your screen, we actually have a special guest, and that special guest is top of the head is actually getting cut off. So let me move it back upwards. Somehow they've zoomed their camera in, but we have Mike in the corner. We have a special guest today joining us on this stream. We are going to go through some other things other than just the charts. However, you know, it's an impromptu join stream, okay? It wasn't a planned thing. It's not a big old, okay, let's plan out a big old stream we can do together. So we do have some articles. We haven't planned the timing of it. I do want to finish this not within an hour, actually within 45 minutes, because we do have something going on at 4 p.m. our time, which is in 2 hours from now. So I will actually set this timer to be 45 minutes, because we'll try our hardest. Or I'll try my hardest, because it's not really anyone else's problem but mine, to keep this on time. But nonetheless, I will continue to do the intro as normal. So again, welcome to everybody. I don't actually have the chat up, but Mike, obviously, because he's man in the chat, as he's promised, isn't he? Yeah, there we go. So obviously, if you've got any questions and whatnot, I can still see YouTube, though. I can't say that, but I can still see YouTube. So let's just get straight into it. I'm going to start as normally, like I said, go through CoinGlass, the calendar, and crypto market cap and all that sort of stuff. But we can see a special number on the screen. We can see something very, very interesting. Now, we've had a bit of turmoil. We've had a bit of down move. But it's actually gone pretty well. It's gone pretty well. Now, it's kind of like a black box. I do my stream, and then things happen, and then I do my next stream, and then sometimes I pay a lot of attention to what happened, or sometimes it just equals out and I ignore it. This is one of those moments where we've come down a bit more than last stream, and then we went right back up. So it's kind of a net positive, to be fair, because we went up higher than we were, which was kind of what we wanted nonetheless. We can see clearly, though, on the 24-hour, we have about $455 million in short liquidation. So again, you can kind of gauge the direction we've gone in for that number. Nonetheless, though, going to the calendar, which is going to blast everyone's eyes, washes me out on the camera, makes everyone's eyes hurt. I don't care about a lot of this. I mean, NFP, March 6th, will matter intraday. It's not going to matter really in the long skin. None of this really matters long term. It's more about, if you do care about trading within the day, trading over a course of a few hours, this obviously will be very important to you. So March 6th will be very important to you. I don't believe PPI will be very, very important. So not really much on the horizon of interest coming up very soon. Going to CoinMarketCap, we can see the actual prices. Now, like I said, we won't go onto the chart immediately, just after we look at this, because we have some articles to read. We have some things to read, and I do have something to announce as well within the trenches in a minute. I will let Mike speak in a second, though. I'm not just having him as a little animated GIF in the bottom left. We will have a conversation in a minute, but I will get through this and we can start then. So we can see 68,179 for Bitcoin. Again, a lot more up than we were last time we streamed, which is obviously a good thing. What we wanted, we can ignore the fact we went down to the next point of support and then went up. We can just ignore the little ins and outs of it all. We can just talk about the fact that it went up, and that's what I said. 3% up on the 24-hour, about 2.6% up 7-day. 2,067 for Ethereum. We can see about 5.7 for 24 and 6.3 7 days. So again, across the board, I'm not going to read all these numbers. I can't be bothered too much because again, we've only got 45 minutes. Very, very good prices. Again, Solana about 87.60. Very good. Like, what is Syrup sitting at? 24 cent. I don't know where the exact bottom's been, but again, we're in the area now I've been wanting for the dawn of time. This has been as soon as Syrup started to go down, this is the area I wanted to be in. And from there, there's only one really way to go, and it's back upwards. So it's nice to see it go a bit more upwards. Obviously, 24. We're not out of the woods, but we're getting there. Lastly, we have Liberty Financial 11.62. We've talked about 14.5 cent for a while. We'll have we might have a little update on that. Maybe not. We might only stick to the top 3 coins because we've only got 45 minutes. We've got some articles, so we'll see how that goes. Nonetheless, though, I finally finished my long old spiel, so I think it's safe to say we can actually let Mike speak now. And do we want to go to the first tweet? The announcement tweet.
Am I speaking? Am I allowed to speak now?
You know the answer. I've asked you. Do we want to go to the tweet?
Which tweet are we going to?
The first one.
The Jane Street one.
No.
Which tweet?
The first one. The one and the three. We have 3 tweets. The first one you sent me. I was going to go for it in linear descending order. Descending.
No, we don't. We want to go with the last one I sent you first because it's the breaking news headline. That's what I've not sent them.
So you want to go last, first, second?
Last, second, first.
Or we do first now and get it out of the way.
Go on then.
Okay, because it's a 2-second thing. We bring it up and then we go, oh look what we're doing, guys, and then we can move on.
Yeah, bring it up.
So here we are, a very monumentous moment in our repertoire videos. We have an In Trenches coming out, which is the reason why we're ending this stream a bit early, so we can make sure we're fully prepared for later on when we do record this episode with Ben Cowan. Here we have Into the Cryptoverse on In the Trenches. We'll be talking more about the markets. Again, it's In the Trenches. It's a overarching umbrella title for the videos, but we are going to be talking about quite a lot of market situational opinions, again, not financial advice, with him and I. Again, obviously, it's more of an interview style rather than a conversation. I like to keep it conversational, but it's more about what he thinks. So we're definitely going to try and answer some questions which I believe the audience has quite dear in their minds right now, considering what's happening with the markets and how crazy it's been pretty recently. This is a very good episode, I think, to come out, especially coming out right now or within next couple of days. So this is very exciting stuff.
Oh, yeah. I'm not. You haven't got a lot of time. I can't talk. Filibuster your stream.
I thought I should stay quiet in case you had something to say about it.
Well, you could ask me if I had something to say about it.
Well, I had the kind of it's exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, that was
pass the torch on,
and so that's why I didn't say anything. I don't want to interrupt your stream. I've gate crashed your stream. I don't want to come in here and talk all the way over your stream. No. But this is clearly the biggest of the In the Trenches that we've had so far. We've had some great people on the stream. We've interviewed Ben from Kronos Army, which is of course on the Binance Smart Chain as well. We've interviewed Danny from WAM. We've interviewed Alex from Wolfies.
Speaking of, sorry to completely interrupt you. Speaking of Danny from WAM, the Wolfish podcast. Not so out. Don't go over there though. Don't leave our stream. Don't go over there. Watch it after the fact. Okay. Don't leave. These famooses over here stealing. They are actually interviewing, or they have Danny WAM currently on the Wolfish podcast, which is pretty convenient. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. That's it. Let's move on. You haven't got a lot of time.
No, not at all. So the first one you wanted was Jane Street, right?
Yes.
Cool. Jane Street is up. Shall have a little gander through it, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
The 10 a.m. drop, how Jane Street broke Bitcoin's price. Bitcoin should be at least $150,000 right now, and everyone knows it. Yesterday, a federal lawsuit was filed in Manhattan that explains exactly why it isn't. Let's connect 3 threads from for the first time. A federal insider trading case built on a private chat group called Bryce's Secret. A pattern of systematic 10 a.m. sell programs that suppressed Bitcoin's price through late 2025, and an undisclosed derivative book excuse me, that may make the largest Bitcoin ETF position in history a tool for suppressing the price of Bitcoin. So this is very long.
Do you want me to summarize it?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So in 2022, FTX collapsed and Luna collapsed as well.
Yep.
Okay. Jane Street were in with Luna and were in the process of actually trying to help them repeg and everything else. And what they actually did was they went behind Luna's back and forced the depeg through and actually caused them to crash. This all happened over the weekend, and the Luna Foundation have sued Jane Street. That's how all of this has started. Basically, Jane Street had insider information. That's the accusation. Obviously, it has to be proved in a court of law.
Yep.
Then what has transpired is Jane Street have been accused of shorting Bitcoin every morning at 10 a.m., the 10 a.m. drop. And they're saying that every morning there is an 888 Bitcoin order that basically takes all of the steam out of the market to stop Bitcoin from going up. And as the price of Bitcoin falls, they then make their profits. So they're selling 888 to stop the price from going up. And as the price falls, they buy back in at the bottom, and allegedly made $24 billion in the last quarter. That's the accusation made against them. Okay. Now, that's where we are. We now have people calling and say, we've got all kinds of things going on. People are saying that this is some kind of satanic ritual. We're saying that they're involved with Epstein. We're getting all kinds of crazy stories coming out yesterday. But today, and this is the question I'm gonna put to you now: do you honestly believe that 888 Bitcoin can suppress the price?
No.
I don't think it can either, and neither do the experts. Okay, the reason we have fallen down, in my opinion, and you can give your opinion in a second, the reason we've fallen down is the OGs, the original people that held Bitcoin from $5, $10, $20 per Bitcoin. They all sold at $100,000. And it crashed the price of Bitcoin. And they sold into the ETFs buying. And if you can go on, it's all verifiable. It's all on chain. That's my real reason why they've come down. And secondly, it's cyclical. We come down from Q4 of the post-halving year. We come down and we bottom in the year after. So that's what I think. What do you think about it? That's what the crypto drama is right now.
Right. Okay. So it's accusing them of causing this whole sitch of us coming down, even though this is
correct.
Quite a normal thing. I mean, I think the amount of times we've gone up and gone back down again, I think this is very basic. This is a very basic thing to be talking about when it comes to a chart. I think a person who's never looked at charts before and spends their first few days looking at how to trade charts will probably first learn about what trend up is and trend down is. And I think it's not about what time. I talk about this a lot on streams. Obviously, if you've watched my streams quite a lot, you might. I mean, it's not every stream I talk about this, but price is the same. But I mean, all a different time frame is a different way of looking at the same price. It's all the same price. It's not a different magical chart which suddenly makes everything look different and act different. But to be fair, it's a different way of looking at the same data. It doesn't change the fundamental data. The price is still always going to be the price, but there's ways of looking at the price on multiple time frames, and you might think something looks really positive on a lower time frame, but realistically, it won't have as much effect as you would see on a higher time frame. Now, again, not financial advice, but this is normal. Again, on the higher time frames, weekly, monthly, and whatnot, we've had a straight line upwards, and now in this period of us moving down from the all-time high, we've had a decent move back downwards. But relative to what we've had on, and even to the monthly, I recently looking at the monthly due to the monthly print coming up soon, we've had a decent move downwards relative to a move upwards. Again, the exact data of it I can't quite recall, but it's been quite a decent retracement. So this is pretty normal. I don't. Again, going back to it to wrap it up, I don't. Even if all of this what I just said wasn't true, I still don't think 888 Bitcoin would cause the failure, the collapse of Bitcoin. I don't think so in the slightest.
No. I mean, markets are volatile in the very first half hour of the day. Yeah. Stock markets, crypto markets. It's happening. It's 10 a.m. American time as well. So it's basically saying 3 o'clock we crash. Somebody did some research, by the way, and in the first hour, Bitcoin is normally up 0.9%. But in the first half hour, it's down 0.1%. So we're talking about fractions here.
Yeah.
We're talking about tiny fractions. And again, I've asked in chat, by the way, if you're watching on Binance Square, I have asked in chat, do you think Jane Street is why Bitcoin is lower? So feel free to answer. Any answers that you give, I will read out. Red, portfolio. With wars, is Bitcoin dropping further? That's a question for you, Oracle, to answer when you look at the charts. Yep. Fear and greed is still at 11, says Meowfi. What was the one that Meowfi said? In this previous week, market is down. First, Trump tariff, and second is the Mexico effect. Basically, they're the most salient comments. Right, do you want to have a quick look at the Bitcoin chart?
I can do.
And tell us where we're going to go. Are we going to go to 74,000? That's my question for you.
We can have a look. So I'm gonna just talk about it as I would. Okay, there's no difference here. I'm just going to talk about as I would have if, nobody else was on the stream just but me. So last time we looked at it, we looked at the 4-hour. Mainly the 4-hour. We did obviously gander from different time frames, but just to give an update on what we talked about last stream versus now. So I was both positive and negative. More positive on the higher time frame. On the hard time, I was like, okay, we want it kind of go upwards, whether it be this support. We obviously had one kind of last area before kind of nothing else. We had a lot of kind of equal lows here as well. Within that low, about 65k. The main thing being, though, the main point being, which was made anyway, last stream was the 4-hour print below that low at 65,160, which is kind of what orchestrated okay, well, we've kind of had a print lower. We've printed past 65,160, 65.6. We've come past these lows. It's even what I want to say on the daily. We still have quite a bit of negativity, and we've just printed negative, which should lead into us coming a bit lower, regardless of what I'm talking about. So it was kind of a weird concept of I do think we're going to go lower, but I do want to go higher in terms of what we have over the kind of whole period, especially on the daily, which was when I was talking about this. So what we had in the 4-hour, we had that print, like I said, and from there we came back up into that gap, which we produced all the way coming from these resistances, and this being the high I don't know if we're actually. Let me check if we're half.
What prices are you talking about on here?
I'll mention them in a second.
Okay.
There we go. So we kind of had this main resistance point. So like I said, I was saying these prices anyway, about 65,000, and then I will say this new price at 66. Basically 666. What we were talking about? Coming back down into support. It ranges from about 65 to about 62. Main area being about 63.8. This main support point here, we kind of came even to the low of it before we came back upwards, but the main thing being we had that move downwards into the support area after we printed, found support, and then came back upwards to our resistance we've had quite a few times now. Again, we can see at 68.863 we've continuously, the mouse is feeling a bit floaty, I don't know why. We've continuously found resistance. We've seen it before, we've kind of like came up, found support, came resistance, support, resistance. So we've come up and down, right? But the main, since about 15th of February, we've really just never got back above it, which is, obviously, again, it is a resistance point. It's completely fine. Let me bring these across so we can see this as well. So we had these still old supports or resistances now continuously being used, but we are printing higher than the previous high over here. We have gotten out of this downtrend. So this is looking good on the 4-hour. If we can continue what we're doing, this is actually very positive. We've come from quite an extreme low at 62 to a massive expansion upwards, which has allowed us to print higher than pretty much all these highs, or the main high anyway, I should say, at about 68.7 here. So this is a very good thing. This is a very good thing for the 4-hour to start to be back into an uptrend or back into a position of positivity. We also have this range here with this gap and this gap here. So this area at 66.6, top end about 67.3. So I definitely think we're going to be coming back down, nonetheless, we are at resistance, into the 66k area, because we have main support here. This is what was resistance, which now should be turned to support. I do think we could use this 66k area as a support point. And from there, I do eventually want to see higher. If we look at the daily, though, quickly, which I haven't looked at just yet, what do we have going on? Well, we have a print past the low. So daily isn't positive yet, but again, if the 4-hour can continue to do what it's doing, like we talked about last stream, even though I wanted positivity on the daily last stream, we have to pay attention to what's going on the 4-hour. What is positive on the daily, though, is we have this gap. Now I'm going to hide everything so we can talk about this. I'm going to hide these as well, so we can talk about it. So we have this gap here, which we printed through. So this is it's not a print through a high. It's not a starting to an uptrend, but it's still a positive indicator or a signal to suggest, okay, we're not as negative as we look at right now, which is we have this gap here, which we produce quite rapidly, which obviously prints through this low. It's very, very negative stuff. But we then have this massive expansion, as we saw with the 4-hour. The reasoning behind this was easy to see on the 4-hour, right? It just looks like a random candle, but we can see the reason we have it. On the 4-hour and the 1-hour, we had that support at about 62.5. But we can see here, with this gap, we might not be printing above 68.5 right now, but two things being, 4 hour, if we continue the uptrend, which we are currently doing, have a little retracement into the gap, come back upwards, we could print through this and be positive on the daily. But also, on the daily, we have this gap which we've printed through, which is positive on the daily as well. So I definitely think I want to see retracement 66k-ish area, but I definitely think this is quite a decent support point, which could allow us to get back upwards. So wrapping all that up.
So you think we're going to go to 66 and bounce?
Something like that, 66. This is the middle of this gap area, the daily. If we go to the 4 hour, we have this main gap area again, about 66.5. Main area probably coming towards about 66, like I said. 1 hour, I mean, it's probably 1 hour is just a very messy version of the 4 hour. It's not too different, but the 4 hour daily are very positive. Weekly, we've been pretty good. Again, we formed this that blue area. If I show them back all again, we have this main blue area here, which we've had for a while now. What that is this weekly line here, which is this rejection block. Now, what's important about this, and what I said last stream was, what I could expect with these next 3 weekly candles is we are constantly printing, very, 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 very small bodies, right? And we are obviously printing above this midpoint. What I want to see is a candle print, again, another small body, but kind of positive, right? I want to see a turn. So what we have right now on the weekly, which looks pretty good, which over the next few days, if we do what we're doing, we could print positive, very slightly. It's kind of it's not a complete confident indicator, but it's a suggestion that, okay, we've come to a support point, we've stopped moving downwards, and we've printed positively. So a kind of the idea that we've kind of arced, if you know what I mean, if I unfortunately show everything else, we have this very big slowdown of these bodies which just completely stop moving. We have these tiny little squares, and then we can see this positively printing green candle, which kind of shows this arcing manner, if you will. So then we have our resistances here, we have our resistance coming upwards. The main area I've talked about a lot now is about 81k. My minimum for like a longer term high, relative to like the weekly scale, is about 81k, right? And that's kind of it. So in terms of going back, all those words I've just said, arcing back to your main question, which was, can we get back to 74k? I do believe so.
When is what I was going to say.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so I've got 3 targets,
right,
which you've got on your chart. 70,000. Well, you can clearly see on your chart, is it the daily chart? You can clearly see that we keep trying to wick to 70,000, and we can't. Can
well,
we?
these 2 weeks. I have the weekly. I can go back to the daily if you want.
Go back to the daily for a second, right? Can you see how we're not breaking back above 70,000?
Yeah.
We keep wicking towards it, don't we?
Yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm opening a new chart, actually, and I can draw on it.
Yeah. Right. So 70,000 has always and will always be the same as 80, 90, 100, 50, 60,000. It's a psychological barrier for human beings to accept the next $10,000 of Bitcoin. So for me, 70,000 psychologically, irrespective of charts, is the next thing. Now, the next one above that is the 74,000 line, which is Liberation Day. I think it was Liberation Day, wasn't it? If you go back a little bit further on your chart, you'll see we wicked to 74,000 and something. There, that's the one.
Well, the main low of this whole move.
Yeah. That was 74,000. So that's my second line. And then my third line is at 80,000, which is not a million miles away from your 81,000. Yeah. So I think they're the 3 prices we have to break. And the reason I asked you when are we going to get to 74,000 is the bull market support band is coming down. And right. I think it's about 86,000 right now. And I think what's going to happen is we are going to carry this move, this relief rally, and we are going to get back to the bull market support band, which could be, by the time we get there, about 81,000.
Yeah,
and that is where I think we are going to get rejected again.
Yep.
And then look at the last time we got rejected at the bull market support band, we went from 98 or 96,000 to 60,000.
Yeah,
so I think that is going to be the next.
Bit lag.
We go up and up and up.
Yeah. You froze again, but I don't know if you said anything.
I said we're just going to have 6 months of this. Anyway, That's all I want to add to that.
Actually, I have a question for you now. Where's your next low for Bitcoin? So we've had this kind of idea of it, and again, times are very hard to to predict in terms of charts. That's why I like to just give prices and relative scales.
50,400.
50,400. Okay.
50,400 is my bottom. My bottom.
Right. Okay. So is that the old low? I mean, it's 49.3, which is the old low. But is it like previous lows? Is it just a
So
area?
Plan B. I tweeted this about 3 or 4 weeks ago. 3 or 4 weeks ago, and Plan B put the same thing up yesterday, which I put into our Telegram group that we can't talk about.
Right.
And in there, basically, I had 2 price targets for Bitcoin. One was 63,000, which we have clearly been at now for some time, and 50,000. And Plan B yesterday tweeted the same thing. He has got his 2 price targets for Bitcoin being 50,000 and 63,000. Now, the reason we've got 50,000, apart from being psychological, is it's the full 60% correction to the downside.
Right.
And we've got diminishing returns at the top, which means we're going to have diminishing losses at the bottom. So we're not going to do a 77% correction to 29,000 is what I'm saying.
Okay.
We're going to do a 60%, around a 60% correction. And I think 50,000 is a nice, wholesome number.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's what I've got.
Yeah, I've got about 52.6. We have an old low.
Yeah.
Like, we have some...
That's absolutely, yeah.
We have this kind of, like, big old line here, and this line coming into it at 52. I definitely think about 52, 51. We've got this line at 51.3. We've got a lot of reasoning. I think my main concern is printing lower than 52.4. So if we can wick to we can wick to 48.9, 49k, and I'd still be happy. I think obviously this is not financial advice, this is just my opinion, and this is what we'll have on the screen in my opinion. But we have this line called the extension line, and if we print past it, it's based on ranges. I've gone through the history of these ranges and these extension lines on other streams, and at every point I've seen highs and lows on the high time frame for Bitcoin. We always see this extension line and the high and low, right? So we have this extension line. The importance is if we print through it and start to use the high at 59k, for example, that is a very bad sign, right? That's a very, very bad sign for what range we're in. So if we don't print past that, we are still in the range between 59k and 120k. Completely fine.
Yeah. All right, let's move on then, because you're running out of time.
Yes. So we have the next tweet. Let me mute it in case I can unmute it, but there's no like music or anything.
So okay.
The next tweet.
Oh, the next tweet. Basically, do you want me to basically tell you what the tweet is about?
If you can, it's like a minute. I can play it if you want, or I can play it maybe low in the background.
Yeah, play it in the back. Play it so people can hear.
The big idea is digital credit is programmable, and most people think programmable means like, oh yeah, I want to like do something computery with it. No, I've got a much bigger idea for you. Programmable means I take the credit and I create it. I turn it into a token, a private fund, a public fund, an ETF, an ETP. I make it a bank account. I make it a crypto account. So I turn into a type of credit. Then I put it on platform, the NASDAQ, the London Stock Exchange, Ethereum, Binance, Coinbase, Base. I put it on Aladdin. I put it on a Fidelity mutual fund system. I offer it through Morgan Stanley or JP Morgan's private wealth, system, or the Merrill Lynch system.
Nearly.
There are a lot of different platforms I can put that.
It's played through now. We heard it,
right.
Especially mentioning Ethereum.
Right. So, Mr. Saylor has always been Mr. Bitcoin, Mr. Bitcoin, Mr. Bitcoin, and he's right there talking about
Mr.
on-chain
Ethereum.
Finances. Mr. Ethereum, but he also mentions in a different clip that on-chain credit and on-chain finance will be built on Solana. Now, this, as far as I'm aware, is the first real example of Saylor talking about anything other than Bitcoin. He's mentioned them in the past, of course, but he's always been buy Bitcoin, everything else isn't pristine, everything's crap. And now we have him standing there talking about Ethereum and Solana and Binance as if he's been talking about them all his life.
Yeah, he's just Ethereum. Like,
you know what I mean?
He probably, his skin would start turning green and his tongue fell out if he said Ethereum or Solana in any sort of official, presentations. He's been the Bitcoin guy. He's even got an orange tile on,
Exactly. So I kind of understand where he's coming from, which is he can't now ignore
the financial applications of a more proactive currency like Ethereum rather than just a store of value like Bitcoin. I mean, I know, I get it. He's got his thing, his whole strategy is literally just buy the Bitcoin, but it's like, you're completely right in terms of if we expect the crypto future to continue, growing, and we want to hope to see a crypto really become a core aspect of future finances, you can't completely just invalidate anything which allows you to build upon crypto in any sort of application. Obviously, with any sort of financial applications. Obviously, we've got real world assets as well. So it's like, it's kind of good he's talking about anything other than Bitcoin for once.
Exactly. I mean, the question I've got is, okay, he's got Bitcoin, a pristine asset, and he's going to have people borrowing and lending and whatever it might be against it. But if you're going to have DeFi applications and TradFi applications all coming together, you're going to need a platform for it to run on.
Yep.
It can't run on Bitcoin, so it has to run somewhere else. And what are the two options right now? Ethereum and Solana, and of course Binance and everything else as well. That's a centralized exchange. So you have to understand, he can no longer sit there. What's that film that we watch about a boy? No man is an island, okay?
Right.
Bitcoin is not an island. It has to accept the fact that there are going to be products and services offered on Ethereum that will involve Bitcoin derivatives.
Yep.
He has to accept that, which he's now done in this very video. But the question I've got for you now is, with Ethereum gets absolutely wrecked when Bitcoin comes down in the bear market, doesn't it? It goes like $400. Where do you see Ethereum going from here? Because I've got a price target for Ethereum.
Wow.
Where's your local top and where's your 2026 bottom?
Well, let's have a little look, shall we? Let me bring up the charts with all my fandangles. So we've got it. It kind of sits within a similar area we've talked with in terms of the process we have with Bitcoin. But it is a bit of a different scenario where, so in terms of what we have with Bitcoin, we are still in our high range, which can cut on the higher time frame. This is the daily. Maybe we're not on the highest range we could be on Ethereum, but it still kind of still stands the concept where Bitcoin has this massive range, right? It's going from about 59k to 120k. We can come as low as I believe it was 52, whatever it was. We can have a wick on the weekly towards around 48k, whatever I said. So we're still in a good situation to have this major low and expand a lot higher for Bitcoin. Ethereum's case, we are actually in a low point. We're in a point where we've not quite on the weekly, but this is what we're talking about in terms of this massive old gap here. But looking at the daily here, we can see this line at 1946 here has been an area we have printed below, and then we can see quite often printed at this 1943. Like I said, again, some prints are a tiny bit lower, a couple of dollars lower, but we can see we've stayed at this line quite strong, and then we've printed lower in it here, and it's kind of signifies to us that we are in this lower range, which means we've between 2187. I'm not saying we come to zero, but zero. This is the whole range, right? So the low points of this are going to be 1290. I talked about these ranges last kind and whatnot, and these are the same prices I talked about last stream. I don't know if we're going to get to 1100. That's not a kind of guarantee, but the outer range of this equilibrium is about 1300, right? So that's kind of my super strong price. Now I should look at old price action is the main thing. We do have a gap, but in terms of old price action, stuff which we haven't kind of come through yet, we had this old gap which we've kind of used. We kind of printed. We technically did print through it by about $30. So if we draw this across now, just as an example quickly, we can kind of see we printed through it and we've not really got back above it. But we haven't had a really crucial print through it. But we are on a range lower. We are quite negative. So we can still get above it, but it's still it's not a great sign, right? But apart from that, going back to my main point, apart from that area, we did have this support in this kind of ranged gap here, about 1738, which you can see we wicked at quite nicely. Again, like I said, other than that, though, we don't really have anything, apart from these lows at 1385, going towards 1300. So 1300, 1350 is probably my first target down for like a quite high low, or a major low, I should say. So actually, what's your, before I get into some nitty gritties of Ethereum, what is your higher range for Ethereum?
So basically, I think Bitcoin bottoms about 30% from where we are now.
Okay,
that's the worst case scenario for 2026. If 63,000 wasn't the bottom and it's 50,000, that's a 30% correction to the downside. Now, rule of thumb is Ethereum and alts wreck harder. Now, Ethereum isn't going to wreck as hard as some of the minor alts because it's the second biggest asset. I'm going to go for a 40% correction to the downside. I think that's going to put Ethereum at 1200, 1250.
Yeah.
That's where I think the bottom is for Ethereum. And I think in the short-term move up, if Bitcoin is going to go up another, say, 10%, I think Ethereum could get back towards about 23, 2400 in the short term.
I completely agree.
Right. Okay. That's good. That's good.
I completely agree. I mean, what I'll say on my high range, I'll quickly glance at the 4 hours just to give updates on what we talked about last stream, and then we can move on to Solana. I think we should probably just do Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, right? Because, I mean, we've got maybe, if I look at the timer when we start, we've got about 10 minutes. We could probably get through our Solana. Maybe I can go quickly glance at Syrup and World Libs Financial. I normally glance at them anyway.
Just do Solana.
Right.
You're going to run out of time. You've got an interview in an hour and a bit, so you might as well have a slightly shorter stream today.
So my main talk has been with this is I still think we can get as high as towards about 25. Mine's a bit more generous, maybe towards 25 to 26. The for a weekly major super high price. It's this low to this high, getting back up into that range at least, which is starting about 2650. It might be a bit generous. I've talked about this on the stream. It might be a bit generous, but in terms of kind of daily, we have this main gap at starting about 2477. Right now, the importance of this extension line, as I said, if we don't print outside of it, we're going to continue to be negative, which feeds into the idea that we can go up again to then proceed lower. Same story here. If we can go as high and print at 2431 and wick at any point up here, as long as we're printing lower than 24 or it's exactly 2427, as long as we're printing lower than that or at it, we will probably go down again. So this kind of feeds into the idea that we can come upwards all the way to some of these areas back at 2500 and then come all the way back down to our supports, our major lows potentially. But yeah, it's pretty much the same price as you have.
I think so. Right then, should we do Solana then?
We can do. I'm going to quickly go to the 4 hour just to glance at it, see what we talked about last time and what we have now. So with Ethereum on the lower ranges on the 4 hour, we talked about some of these support points. I know I have a lot drawn. Okay, I know it might just look like I've drawn 15 million lines and go, oh look, see, one of them hit. You know what I mean with the EMAs? I love that meme. I don't know if any of you've seen it. I should probably try and bring it up. On Twitter, the guy he posted the EMAs from the 1 EMA to like the 500 EMA, and it's just this void, right? Because it's like every price and every day, and it's just like the support at the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth EMA. It's just so funny, but it's not the situation. So we have the equilibrium. I talked about this last stream in terms of we had the main support at 1850. I was kind of my assumption was we had already printed lower. We'd already printed this. Actually, no. I can't remember exactly what I said, but my stream was here. This was my stream. That we came back up into this gap as usual, and we were probably going to come back to equilibrium, which we exactly did. This print 1822 printing in this area, we can see here quite nicely, and then we reversed, which was good. Again, we are printing at equilibrium. We didn't get through it. We didn't reverse it. We didn't start to use it as resistance. If we reversed this, printed through it, and started to use 1822 as resistance, we were going to come down to 1700, easily. We didn't do that. We used it support greatly, and then we reversed, and then we printed higher, and then we were doing great. Perfect. And now we're back kind of towards our kind of resistance areas, coming as high as our old resistance, which we used quite a bit, which we've talked about before anyways. And now we've done the same thing as Bitcoin. And sometimes when I spend my 30 minutes on Bitcoin, this is why I can go so easily through Ethereum, because it's the exact same as Bitcoin. So exact same things. We're going to come back down towards some of these gaps, 1950, 1930, whatever it's going to be. Old resistances could probably be used as support as well. If we go towards the daily as well, we've had this print lower. We haven't had that print higher like we've talked about. We have reversed this gap at 1936, like I said. So we're probably going to get towards 1900s maybe for a shorter term daily 4 hour low. Probably going to talk about the same thing on the weekly. We have this rejection block. We're at this midpoint. We actually have quite a high printing positive candle. If we can print this on the weekly, it's a decent sign. We have these negative printing candles staying really small and then printing positive. Could be a good sign on the higher time frame weekly to go up towards these 2500 areas. But other than that, it's the same as Bitcoin. 1900 my next target on the 4 hour-ish. So that's it. Yeah, that's my Ethereum.
Right, you've got 4 minutes left.
Okay. Do you want to give your opinions on Solana? I don't use the ranges on Solana because they don't work on certain time frames.
Yeah. So I think long term, I think we come to $50 ish, because I don't know if you remember this, but probably 2023, when we were covering Solana, covering many other things, maybe even it was the start of 2023 when everything was going to hell in a handbasket. We were talking about $50 being an absolute critical line for Solana, and that was 3 years ago.
Yeah,
and I think we could retrace all the way to $50 in the capitulation where Bitcoin goes to 50,000, 49,000, which to 49,000. I think it goes to $50, and I think so 80 to 90, 70 to 80, 60 to 70, 50 to 60. We've been buying Solana all the way down. In the shorter term, I think we go maybe back towards what are we at now,
87.6.
I think we are probably going to get back towards 125 if Bitcoin does actually do something, maybe as high as 140, 150. But if we get rejected again, then it's straight back down to 80, $75, I think.
Yeah. Pretty much very similar for me. Again, a very similar scenario with Solana in terms of what we have on the high time. On this range, we can see we have this orange line. This is the high. So this is when you have a massive wick coming into this area. This is quite a strong support point for rejection block. We have the same thing spawning here across this area. This is the same we've seen on Bitcoin and Ethereum. We have this massive line. We can see we're roughly continuously staying at this midpoint. If we have this here, we can see these two lows roughly towards this midpoint, about $77. We have our range on the 4 hour. I'm not going to get into now because we're probably going to just talk about the higher end for Solana. In terms of what I have, we are printing at the high quite nicely as support. We have our high ranges coming back upwards, minimum into this previous support, which is probably now resistance. In terms of what you said in terms of the local highs, for me, it's going to be around $112. We do have 114. We do have 100. I do see 120, but I'm more looking at this weekly gap here. Maybe towards about $114 for my high. And from there, if we do come down, we do have a very high support point starting about $50, midpoint around $40 as well. So I do have about $50 as well as a starting point for support, maybe a tiny bit lower in this major gap, but pretty much in the same boat with those opinions. On the 4 hour, again, we've already talked about the 4 hour. It's the same concepts. We're looking at the same stuff. We have that support. This is a low instead of an equilibrium like Ethereum, but we came to the support on the 1 hour. You can see we kind of use this midpoint quite nicely. Same story here with the big gap, which we use as resistance. We had this previous gap we use as support. I should probably get my pen out. Previous area we used as support here, which we then reversed and used as resistance. But from there, finding this major support point, we then went a lot higher, printing past that high, coming back to our previous resistance points quite strongly. So again, very similar charts across the board. I am still expecting that retracement back towards these $81, $82 areas for this local 4 hour time frame. But from there, I think overall long term, I do want to see that move upwards. But as we've talked about, my main thing is how we're going to print on the monthly, which is obviously on Bitcoin. Just before I wrap it up, I do want to quickly go to it on the monthly. If we are printing past 74.5 in the next 2 days and 11 hours, I think it's gonna spawn a very negative move down, like very, very negative. Which obviously kind of coincides with what we talked about coming towards $50 or $50,000. It's to say it does kind of feed into that idea and give it a bit more validity. I've
got breaking news.
Breaking news.
Zach XBT has just announced who it is.
Okay.
3 minutes ago. Meet Brooks Bauer, one of the multiple Axiom Exchange employees allegedly abusing the lack of access controls for internal tools to look sensitive user details to insider trade by tracking private wallet activity since early 2025.
So everyone, well, not everyone, but everyone was wrong. Everyone thought Meteora. I saw on the point market anyway.
I thought it was Meteora, exactly.
Wow.
It became one of the most profitable companies in the space, generating revenue. It's currently an Axiom senior business developer employee based in New York. In the clip, he states he can track any user via ref code, wallet, or user ID and claims he can find out anything to do with that person. In April 2025, he shared a screenshot from an internal dashboard is displaying private wallets for the trader, and it just goes on and on and on with examples of X and Telegram tweets, basically giving away how this has been fed to different calls and different people. And there is another moderator at Axiom that's involved, and it's got all of the clips, all of the individuals, and it's all been posted up. It was Axiom.
Ooh. Wow. Yikes.
Yeah, so there you go. Anyway, I interrupted your...
I'm done.
You're done?
I'm done.
Wow.
We've done it. It's 2 minutes past the 1:45. 13 to, whatever. We've done it. We've at the... Oh, I could quickly glance at... So just to see... I don't want to look at any price action. I just want to see if we've stopped where we need to stop at. Very nice. Yeah, pretty much on the dot. We have this whole area. We've pretty much stayed on the dot within this gap. We came as low as the main low at $20.50 ish. You can see on the weekly we're printing very nicely at that midpoint at 22 cents. Not dollars, I meant cents. So yeah, pretty good. Very, very good for that. Again, this is a weekly support point, so I would expect the weekly to hold it as strength. So even though on the daily we have gone into the low of it, the weekly is where this originates. You can see this green candle here. So yeah, very, very good. I'm very happy with SERP. Let's see how we go.
Let's go.
Whoa. I want to quickly look at Wells Financial really quickly.
It's 1447.
I know, but it's it's within the range, and I want to quickly look at it.
Okay, fine.
Where's the half shift? I'm stupid. There it is. Oh no, it's 218. Okay, I will quickly look at it for the chart and see how we're moving on the 4 hour quickly, or the daily. Yeah, so not really too much movement. We had this gap. Okay, now we're on a range low, aren't we? All right, here we go. Yeah, so we're doing pretty well. We are we're doing a higher low. I do expect high highs. Yeah, I mean it doesn't. I'm just wanting to see if we've done anything concerning. And it doesn't look like it. I do still think we are going to come towards 14.5 cents. So brilliant, perfect. That's it. I'm done. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me on the stream.
Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you. It's been a very productive stream to mix the charts, but also some active news going on. So
exactly. Breaking news. We broke it on Binance.
Exactly. And again, you're not getting it like you're getting it anywhere else. This is the prime of streaming. This is the pinnacle. You don't have it. There's no other streamer, not even just in crypto. We are the best streamers in the world. Totally. And if you don't know what sarcasm is, then look it up. Thank you. Obviously, Mike says bye. I'm saying bye. I will see you guys Saturday. We are going to go record the Entrenches in an hour, which should be very good. That'll be up probably by Friday as well. Something like that.
If you can get it across to me this afternoon, I will spend Friday editing it.
Perfect. So that'll be good to look out for tomorrow or Saturday. And obviously, I'll be back Saturday as well. So thank you so much. See you guys next time. Have a good rest of your week. Thank you. Goodbye.
Fitzy. Up.
you.